This series is where I'll be ranking every album Eminem has ever released. So far we covered M's 1996 debut album Infinite, his second album The Slim Shady LP in 1999, the Marshall Mathers LP in 2000, and now we are doing the Eminem Show released in 2002. This series playlist will be linked in the description along with the pinned comments, so I hope you guys do enjoy this. The Eminem Show is the fourth studio album released on May 26, 2002 by Eminem through Shady Records, Aftermath Entertainment, and Interscope Records. In this album, Eminem takes a bigger role in the production and collaborates with Jeff Bass. The features in this album are stacked with Nate Dogg, Obi Trice, D12, Dr. Dre, and even Eminem's daughter Haley. On this album, you'll see the themes based on Eminem's influence on hip-hop, thoughts of fame, life problems, and political commentary on the US. It also includes some disses on other rappers, which will be explained as I rank the tracks. This album overall takes a more serious approach in Eminem's discography, with it being a step back from his alter ego Slim Shady. This album debuted at number 1 on the Billboard 200 and sold 1.3 million copies in its second week in the US. It also topped the UK albums chart for 5 straight weeks. The singles in this album consisted of Without Me, Cleaning Out My Closet, Superman, and Sing for the Moment. This album overall was praised because of Eminem's maturity, in-depth lyricism, and production. This album was the best-selling of 2002 worldwide. It was certified diamond by the Recording Industry Association of America, and today has 27 million copies sold. At the 2003 Grammys, it was nominated for Album of the Year and won Best Rap Album. One of the 4 singles, Without Me, won Best Music Video. On my Infinite ranking, I went through a summary of the timeline of releases and went over pretty much everything except that Eminem released the Eminem Show Expanded Edition in 2022. This expanded edition added 4 tracks that will be in this ranking. They were titled Stimulate, Bump Heads, Jimmy Brown and Mike, and The Conspiracy Freestyle. There are a lot of live performances and instrumentals added, but of course they will not be in the ranking. The skits in this album will also not be ranked as they always do, but you can find them in the description if you guys want to listen to them. So the original release of the Eminem Show has a total of 20 tracks, 5 being skits, so a total of 15 tracks to rank. The expanded edition added 18 tracks, most being instrumentals and live performances, but 4 being new songs. So this ranking will come out to a total of 19 tracks. So let's get right into it, everybody. I hope you guys do enjoy. If you guys haven't, make sure you drop a like. I'd greatly appreciate it. It helps me a lot. And yeah, let's get on with number 19.
What she shoving me for? Doesn't she love me no more? Wasn't she hugging me 4 minutes ago at the door?
Drips is just so fucking weird. I hate the chorus, I hate the idea, and just overall weird and doesn't fit with the theme of this album. The feature on the song Obi Trice has a verse, and it sounds good, and so does Eminem's verse when you're not listening to the lyrics. But overall this song and its topic is just the worst of this album.
It goes 1, 2, 3, 4. Rush, move, see, 4.
Jimmy, Brian, and Mike was recorded around 1999 to 2000. Allegedly, the names in the title are Jimmy Levine, the co-founder of Interscope Records, Brian Gardner, a mastering engineer who worked with Eminem on his albums, and Mike Elizondo, a producer for tracks in his Marshall Mathers LP and this album. I'm not really a fan of this song though. The flow seems kind of off, and the chorus isn't anything special either. I really don't have too much else to say though. I like the Beavis and Butthead reference though.
If I were to die murdered in cold blood tomorrow, would you feel sorry, show love?
This track is Eminem and D12 venting their frustrations with how serious people take rap when it's not that deep. It's just lyrics. The main message of the song is to stop confusing hip-hop with real life when the music stops. As in, don't go out and do what you hear in rap songs after you're done listening. I like all the verses, like, I have no complaints, and the intro by Bizarre is cool.
And y'all got something for my ass every issue. Thank you, cause I keep running out of fucking tissue.
This song originally appeared on DJ Green Lantern's mixtape, Invasion Part 2/Conspiracy Theory in 2003. At the time, Green Lantern had signed as Shady Records' official DJ, but left in 2005 due to disagreements with 50 Cent. In this song, Eminem mentions his beef with Benzino, who is the co-founder of The Source magazine. I get into this beef more on the next track on this ranking, so there will be more context there. Other than that, there isn't anything else too notable about this track. I like the flow, production, and pretty much everything about it.
Cause what you say is what you say. Say what you say, how you say it, whenever you saying it.
Featuring and produced by Dr. Dre, Say What You Say is a track where M disses Cannabis, Jermaine Dupri, and The Source magazine. Jermaine Dupri is a producer and rapper who mainly had beef with Dr. Dre. Dre and M are really good friends, of course, so Eminem had his back and dissed Dupri. A quick summary of this beef is Dupri said he is the best producer in the game, meaning rap game, and Dre responded on this track saying, "Been here longer than anyone in the game, Eminem, and I ain't got to lie about my age. Then Eminem asked Dre, but what about Jermaine? Dr. Dre says, fuck Jermaine, he don't belong speaking mine or Timbaland's name, and don't think I don't read your little interviews and see what you're saying. I'm a giant, and I ain't gotta move till I'm provoked. When I see you, I'ma step on you and not even know it. You midget, mini me with a bunch of little mini yous, running around in your backyard swimming pools, over 80 million records sold, and I ain't have to do it with 10 or 11-year-olds. Dupree responded with JD's reply, jacking for beats, on which he accused Dr. Dre of not doing half of the work in the studio that he says he does. On the track's final verse, Dupree turns his attention to Eminem, rapping the lines, "Oh yeah, Eminem, I left you out deliberately. You know why? Cause to me, you like a character in Disney World, known for dissing pop groups and Justin's ex-girl. Shit, don't nobody take you serious." Eminem responded on his Cannabis diss, "Can I Bitch?" before extending his lyrical tirade to a DJ K Slay freestyle with Exhibit. He says, "I stay beefing with JD till the day Dre two-ways me." On JD's reply, Duper said he would come back at Eminem harder if he responded, but he never responded. Like, Jermaine Dupri's talking all this shit and says he would respond harder but never responded. Just goes to show you that he's kind of a pussy. But that's basically it. But now for Cannabis, basically M says a line on the song, "If you ever mix me up or confuse me with a Cannabis or Dre with a Dupree, we'll rub it in every club you're in, we'll have you blackballed and make sure you never rap a fucking again." I'll give you guys more context on the Eminem and Cannabis beef in the next track that I rank, because the next track is going to be Square Dance, and Square Dance is also involving Cannabis. Anyways, for the Source magazine, there's a ton of lore to this shit, but for this song only, Eminem states he doesn't like how he doesn't get 5 mics out of 5 on his Marshall Mathers LP and Slim Shady LP albums. 5 mics out of 5 is the rating system that the Source magazine does. Eminem's distaste grew into a famous beef with the Source's Benzino, after Benzino claimed in 2002 that M was just a product of the machine that sought to discredit black and Latino artists. Like I said, there's a lot of lore to the Source and M beef, specifically M and Benzino, that I might touch on later if it's brought up again. Anyways, this track is a nice one. I don't really care for the chorus as much, but the rest of the song is pretty decent. I really like Dr. Dre's verse.
I'll be brief and let me just keep shit simple. Can a bitch don't want no beef with Slim, no.
Alright, so Square Dance. This song serves as a diss to Cannabis, an American rapper who had beef with Eminem. It also serves as a diss to George Bush, the president at the time in the US, on how Eminem hated him. He wanted to call out the members in the Senate that advocated for M being banned from the media because of the content in his lyrics. Eminem really wanted to fight for freedom of speech. The chorus of the song is very catchy, and it's speculated to be Eminem mocking George Bush's accent. For more context on the Cannabis situation, there'll be a video linked in the description if you want to know like the full story. But a quick summary is in 1997, a song by the rapper LL Cool J was in the process of being recorded, and one of the lines was a line by Cannabis which had said, "Hey LL, is that a mic on your arm? Let me borrow it." LL heard the line and was offended, which sparked the beef between Cannabis and LL Cool J. In 1998, Cannabis disses LL Cool J again with a song called Second Round KO. LL heard it and responded with the track Ripper Strikes Back. Cannabis had been working with Wyclef Jean, and after they had heard the response, Jean accused Eminem, who was up and coming at the time, about ghostwriting for LL Cool J's response to Cannabis. So they had Eminem come down to a video shoot for I Honor You by Cannabis. Cannabis and Jean then asked Eminem if he wrote LL Cool J's response, though M told both Jean and Cannabis he didn't write it. Eminem then asked if he and Cannabis could collaborate, which Cannabis accepted. In the song Role Model, Eminem said, "I'm cancerous, so if I diss you, you wouldn't want to answer this," if he responded back to a battle rap he wrote for Cannabis. It confused Cannabis, as he didn't know if Eminem was dissing him or not. So in July 2000, Cannabis dropped his second album, 2000 BC. And the BC, instead of Before Christ, it fucking stands for Before Cannabis. One of the songs on the album was Fuck You, with PHUK and then U. Eminem was supposed to be featured on the track, however Eminem turned it down. He turned it down because he didn't get the whole concept of the track. Cannabis felt disrespected, and it didn't help that Eminem had name-dropped Cannabis on multiple songs. Cannabis would go on to subliminally diss Eminem throughout his next few albums. M wanted to go all out on Cannabis, but he was held back by his friends. In 2001, Cannabis had dissed Eminem in the song The Ballet. Also in the same year, Cannabis had released his album album See True Hollywood Stories. One of the tracks on the album was a sequel to Stan. This was because Cannabis thought Eminem was dissing him with the song Stan. Anyways, in 2002, Eminem released Eminem Show, and Square Dance is one of the tracks where he dissed Cannabis with the line, "Can I bitch, don't want no beef with Slim." At the end of the song, Eminem raps the lines, "Dr. Dre wants to square dance with me, Nasty Nas wants to square dance with me, X to the Z wants to square dance with me, Busta Rhymes wants to square dance with me, Can I bitch won't square dance with me, Fan I bitch won't Fan I bitch won't square dance with me, Canada bitch Canada bitch don't want no parts of me, Dirty Dozen wants to square dance with you." I said I'll give you a summary, but fuck dude, that was a whole essay. This is more than I ever did in school, to be honest. But that's all you need to know about the beef up until 2002. There's more shit which might come up in the future rankings, but for now, if you want to watch the analysis of the beef between them, the link will be in the description below.
I ain't trying to use nobody as a stepping stone, but don't compare me. I'm better off just left alone.
Bumpheads features 50 Cent, Tony Yao, and Lloyd Banks. It's a Ja Rule diss, which is a dude who beefed with Eminem back in the day. The beef started with 50 Cent, who had beef with Ja Rule when both rappers had begun to show interest in a career in rap. They were both born in the Jamaican area of Queens, New York, though both made it big. At the time, Ja Rule was considered one of the New York's biggest rappers and had gone platinum in 1999, whereas 50 Cent was only starting to sell mixtapes and wasn't into a big-time career like Ja was. Shit, did I just say Ja was, bro? This was before 50 Cent was discovered by Eminem by being signed to Shady Records. During a 1999 video shoot for a Ja Rule track, 50 Cent apparently tried talking to Ja, and according to 50, Ja was very disrespectful to him, and when 50 Cent suggested to Ja and Ja's crew that he might try to get signed to Murder Inc., he was rejected in a very disdainful way. Later, Ja reportedly stated that 50 didn't like to see all the love he got. The beef really started to turn violent when both 50 and Ja Rule were booked to perform at an Atlanta nightclub. There's a few versions of what probably happened that night, but it is clear that it started somewhere like this. When the two saw each other, they spoke and had an argument where Ja questioned 50, and then it turned physical with both sides swinging punches. In March of 2000, 50 was stabbed at Hit Factory Studios in New York after Ja Rule was told he was recording there. The stabbing ended up in the arrest of Ja Rule and the entire Murder Inc. The Murder Inc. CEOs Irv Gotti and Chris Gotti were charged for assaulting 50, but the charges were later dismissed. 50, however, didn't get seriously hurt, so that's really good for 50, man. I'm glad he's okay. 2 years later, 50 was signed to Shady Records. In August, 50 releases No Mercy, No Fear with G-Unit, with his first direct diss against Ja being Wanksta. 50 releases several diss tracks with no response from Ja until April 2003, when Ja released a diss track called Loose Change, where he disses 50, Eminem, D12, G-Unit, Dr. Dre, as well as Ja's former associates Busta Rhymes and Chris Lightly. This started a diss war between Shady Records and Murder Inc. Ja said these lines in one of the disses towards Eminem. "Em, you claim your mother's a crackhead, and Kim is a known slut, so what's Haley gonna be when she grows up?" And rightfully so, Eminem was pissed of mentions of his daughter on the track, and just a week after Ja's diss track was released, Eminem, 50 Cent, and Busta Rhymes dissed him in a track called Hail Mary. Later, Eminem, Obi Trice, and D12 dissed Ja Rule again in Do Re Me. Ja Rule hit back with a series of his own records, the biggest being Clap Back, which hears him compare Eminem to Al-Qaeda leader Osama bin Laden. Osama bin fucking Laden, dude, that's crazy. Eminem responded with a few more tracks, but notably Go to Sleep, From the Cradle to the Grave soundtrack, but he eventually called time on the beef in 2004 on the song Like Toy Soldiers. And Like Toy Soldiers is on his 2004 Encore album, which is the album we'll be looking at next. So yeah, anyways, the song Bumpheads was one of the many tracks released by Eminem that were aimed at Ja Rule. I just wanted to give you guys some context on who Ja is and what happened and why Eminem dissed him. Anyways, overall the track is really well done. I like the features and pretty much have no complaints about it.
There's no mountain I can't climb. There's no tower too high. No plane that I can't learn how to fly.
This track is more of an innocent one than anything. Well, as innocent as I can get for Eminem. My Dad's Gone Crazy is a track which features none other than Haley Jade herself. The backstory behind Eminem letting Haley feature in this went like this. He let Haley come to the studio with him one day. She says, "My dad's gone crazy" into the mic, and he decided to put it in one of his songs. He was criticized for putting his daughter's voice into a song with such vulgar language, but in his defense, Haley wasn't present during the recording of the actual song. She just provided inspiration. You know, I really like the more innocent type track though, and it's just a nice break from all the other ones. He also disses his mother again in the track on the second verse. I also like how he mentions the kids love his music, but the parents are pissed at Eminem for it, which shows another I don't give a fuck attitude by Eminem.
Music can be slightly amusing. You shouldn't take lyrics so serious, it might be confusing.
Stimulant, it's basically just another track about Eminem's effects on listeners and how he's only here to entertain and not parent them. He basically says it's the parents' job to parent them because, you know, they're fucking parents. I don't really have anything to say about this track. I just really love the sound of it, and the chorus is catchy. It's just a fairly awesome track overall.
People just wanna see if it's true, if it's you. What you saying, your rap, what you do.
In Soldier, Eminem details his run-in with the law because of his weapon charges. This song goes with the skit The Kiss, which is the track before this one on the album, and it also goes with Say Goodbye Hollywood, which is the track next after Soldier. In the Kiss skit, Eminem tells his version of what happened in a situation 2 weeks after the Marshall Mathers LP album was released. Eminem was arrested for allegedly assaulting a man named John Guerrero with an unloaded gun after he claimed he saw Guerrero kissing his then-wife Kim. In addition to recreating his version of what happened that evening on The Kiss, Eminem also addressed the assault allegations on this track. He also describes his mindset, which pushes him to carry guns, and references the alleged assault. He explains he's constantly being tested in public and needs to carry just in case. He went on trial for weapon concealment and had to serve 3 years of probation for the incident and pay $100,000 to Guerrero. I love the flow of this track and just how it's connected with the 2 other songs on this album. Storytelling and music has always been one of my favorite things for me. He also mentions the John Guerrero situation on his track Sing for the Moment, which is a track I'll get to once it comes up on this list.
I thought I had it all figured out, I did. I thought I was tough enough to stick it out with Kim.
So the conclusion to the Kiss storyline, Say Goodbye Hollywood acts as the aftermath of the incidents of the 2 previous tracks. A little known fun fact, the song Stimulate was supposed to be after Soldier in this track, but was removed because of this one, Say Goodbye Hollywood. Anyways, Eminem says goodbye to Hollywood, also known as saying goodbye to his fame for a while. He was in the hot seat dealing with a lot of issues from every direction. In his second verse, he shows interest in committing suicide, but comes to the conclusion that he cannot give up. His main inspiration for not giving up is his daughter Haley, which he takes being a father so seriously because of the fact that his own dad left him. The third verse is Eminem saying that he may in fact retire from the game. He also talks about incidents he's had which people read about on the news, and says that they aren't publicity stunts as the people might think. For example, when he carried a gun and got in trouble for it, the people saw it as entertainment. But in all honesty, it stresses out Eminem. He considers to stop using guns altogether. He's got more than he expected from his fame, both good and bad. He feels he sold his soul to the devil and has to deal with being trapped by Hollywood. And unfortunately, Haley has to deal with the effects of living in isolation due to his fame.
Let's get down to business. I don't got no time to play around. What is this?
This is such a funny track. Eminem and Dre used a superhero theme to get rid of the real villain, bad lyricism. Think of them as a Batman and Robin. The flow of the song is so fantastic and I love the production. The chorus is so catchy too. There's really nothing else to say about the song other than I love it, and the theme Em and Dre are doing is awesome.
I never would have dreamed in a million years I'd see so many motherfucking people who feel like me.
In White America, Eminem points out the inconsistencies in the social structure of the United States, particularly its censorship of freedom of speech and racial discrimination in the entertainment establishment, specifically between white people and African Americans. The attempts to censor Eminem were based on the fear of his influence on American children and came from mostly white suburban people who had not paid attention to rap before. At the end of the track, Eminem says again, "Ha, I'm just playing America, you know I love you." Now, does that sound familiar? Well, if it does, it's because he said this outro on his Slim Shady LP album on the track Kill You, which I said would come up again. Well, he virtually said the same thing, but instead he says, "I'm just playing ladies" instead of America.
Sometimes I think I'm crazy. I'm crazy, oh so crazy.
Haley's song is a very deep personal track by Eminem. On the first verse, Eminem states he gets depressed and has some bad thoughts like there's nothing to live for, but then when he sees his daughter Haley, he sees meaning in that life is still worth living. In the second verse, Eminem states that people make comments about him as if he's emotionally invulnerable, and he does play that role on the outside, but on the inside, not in the public eye. The treatment and the insecurities he faces are taking a big toll on him. But once again, when things get difficult, it's Haley who gives him relief with her presence. On the third and final verse, Eminem celebrates how happy he is to be a father and the need to write an appropriate song which will always remind Haley of how much he loves her. His main goal in life is to be a good father, not guns or drugs, but to be a good father. He also describes that his Slim Shady persona is just a gimmick. He also gets into bashing Kim, with whom Eminem had recently divorced when the song was dropped. He regrets ever getting into a romantic relationship with Kim. It kind of seems like a contradiction, like why would Eminem regret being in a relationship with Kim, a romantic romantic relationship if he got Haley out of it, but since now having secured custody of Haley, it's like all the suffering has been neutralized. I find Eminem an underrated singer, and I feel he does great on here. The third verse is my favorite part of the song though, with it being a rap verse. Eminem produced this all by himself, at least that's what's credited on Genius, so it really shows how much thought and care he put into the song.
So I collapse, I'm spilling these raps, long as you feel them to the day that I drop, you'll never say that I'm not killing them.
The Like Collapse featuring Nate Dogg is a song that has been certified over 5 times platinum by the RIAA for a sales count of over 5 million units in the United States alone. It's such a catchy track, and this is the most popular song ever from Eminem that wasn't released as a single. Nate Dogg's voice is such a blessing, and I love the chorus he does here. Eminem raps about how he'll be in the rap game till the day he dies, till he collapses. The rhyme scheme in the song is absolutely insane. He starts off with a motivational message, and it fits the track well, which relates to a single Eminem release titled Lose Yourself that came out a few months later. This song is just amazing and such a good motivational song you can exercise to.
Got no ring on his finger now. I never let another chick bring me down in a relationship.
Featuring Dina Ray, Superman contains a lot of truths about the kinds of women that Eminem interacts with. The title of Superman in relation to women likely refers to the situation of Superman himself saving women from dangerous situations and them being grateful for it. Eminem describes himself as being the complete opposite to this kind of character, preferring to, quote, leave women to solve their own problems by themselves without his help. God. Which relates closely to his relationship with Kim. He states that his fans try to set him up with other singers, but he wants to be single because he hates relationships. One notable feud of Eminem's was the feud between him and Mariah Carey. Yes, the girl who fucking wrote All I Want for Christmas. He mentions Mariah in the song saying, "What you trying to be my new wife? What you Mariah fly through twice." If you don't know what that means, I don't blame you. So I'll give you a summary of the beef. So basically, earlier in Eminem's career, he made references to having a relationship with Mariah Carey. She denied having a relationship with Eminem, saying she only hung out with him 4 times. And this is possibly one of the funniest things Eminem has done in his life. So he responded on the Anger Management Tour to Mariah Carey saying she only hung out with him 4 times. And the Anger Management Tour is a rap and rock music tour founded and started in 2000 by Limp Bizkit, Papa Roach, and Eminem. He played the crowd voicemails that Mariah allegedly left him. And that shit was so fucking funny. I will leave it in the description if you guys want to go check it out. He does some more shit later, like bringing her new husband Nick Cannon into the beef on his Relapse album and dropping a final diss on her, but we'll talk about it once we get to the Relapse ranking. Anyways, the instrumental of the song is one of my favorites ever, and the addition of Dina Ray really helps this track. Without her, I believe this track wouldn't be as good. Anyways, it's just an overall W track.
Brainwashed from rock and rap. He sags his pants, blue rags, and a stocking cap.
Sing for the Moment was an international hit, reaching the top 10 in several countries and peaking at number 14 in the US in May 2003. It became certified platinum in the United States and gold in both the UK and Australia. The song samples Dream On by the American rock band Aerosmith. The track is Eminem addressing fans that he's influenced. The listeners are described as those who come from a traditional, well-mannered American background, but now they're displaying, quote, hardcore hip-hop behavior, such as cussing and showing violent tendencies. He's overall just trying to get kids that listen to him to stop acting like idiots. Kids think having a gun makes you look cool, but Eminem stresses that he carries a gun not to look cool, but for protection. He also mentions the incident with the bouncer from the Kiss storyline. He says the lines, "You're full of shit too, Guerrera. That was a fist that hit you." He basically calls the bouncer full of shit, and that Eminem hit him with a fist, not a gun. Now, I don't know what the truth is, because Eminem is saying he hit him with a fist, but it's reported, like everywhere else, that he hit him with an unloaded gun, so I don't know exactly. Either way, though, he had to face the consequences, which we talked about, of course, earlier. But yeah, that's pretty much it for the song. This song is just so well put together, with the sample, to the vocals, to the production, and I just fucking love it. Eminem is such a legend.
Now this looks like a top for me, so everybody just follow me.
This song is so iconic. This track shows Eminem's realization of his importance to the rap game and that it wouldn't be the same without him. A running theme on this album is Eminem and Dr. Dre as superheroes, here to save the rap game like I explained in Business. This song charted as a top 5 hit in 20 countries, reaching number 1 in 13 of them. This song reached a peak of number 2 on the Billboard Hot 100, and it reached number 1 on both the mainstream top 40 and rhythmic charts. This song also was featured on the soundtrack album for the film Suicide Squad, released in 2016. The music video on on Eminem's channel is his third most popular, with 1.5 billion views. Eminem mocks the critics, including then Vice President Dick Cheney, and his wife Lynn, the FCC, Chris Kilpatrick, Limp Bizkit, and Moby. He also acknowledges his comparisons to Elvis Presley, as he was a white man also succeeding in a predominantly black art form. This rap game would be truly empty without Eminem.
I never meant to make you cry, but tonight I'm cleaning out my closet.
Cleaning Out My Closet is probably the deepest track ever made by Eminem. Here he raps about his father abandoning him, Kim, and of course his mother. It depicts Eminem venting his anger towards his mother for the way she raised him. In the course of the song, Eminem sarcastically apologizes to his mother for hurting her and making her cry, but takes back the apology by showing the world what his mother was like in the third verse. He says we shouldn't judge him for dissing his mom when she treated him like complete shit. After all those years, she won't admit she was wrong, and that's what pisses Eminem off. He says he wishes his mom would burn in hell for trying to take his earnings by suing him and not admitting she was the wrong one. On his second verse, Eminem starts off painting a picture back to when Eminem was just a baby and his father leaving him. He basically says to his father, "Fuck you, I hate you." And rightfully so. I'd hate my father too if he abandoned me like that. For Kim, he doesn't want to hurt Haley, so he tried to make the relationship work best for Haley. He says he made some mistakes, which is referring to Eminem's track Kim on his Marshall Mathers LP album, where Kim actually went to a concert where Eminem performed the track and got so embarrassed and hurt she almost took her own life. Eminem is willing to admit his mistakes and put it all behind him, and overall just to come out a better person. Well, that's pretty much a summary of the song. Now, for my opinion, this song has one of the best instrumentals ever. The rawness of Eminem's emotions are so interesting to analyze, and I'm glad he put it all in a song to say how he was feeling at the time. This track overall is just so amazing, and it is my favorite on the Eminem Show album. Alright, so next video in this series, we're going to be taking a look at Eminem's 2004 album, Encore. Encore is definitely an interesting one, and I can't wait to rank it and talk about it with you guys. So, hope you guys did enjoy this video. If you enjoyed it, please make sure to leave a like. And yeah, I'll see you guys all in the next video. Peace.